Welcome to Sunday Springboard with Melanie and Kimberlyn Coaching, where we help women recover from and flourish after stress and trauma. I'm glad you're here with me today. You know, Facebook is always changing, and I'm not sure what's going on today. Last week, I believe I posted on my business page as well as my group site. Today, I'm not so sure because they've changed things. So if you were hoping to see this on the group site and you're not on right now, I will post it to there as soon as we're done. I'm trying to make this see where I can see comments afterwards, but I'm not sure how that's going to work either. So I think I'm just going to talk. So as you know, the last several weeks, many weeks, we have been talking about stress and trauma. That trauma is not just big major events, it's daily, critical, negative, unstable, inconsistent lives. We've all been dealing with stress for the pandemic, but many of us are even dealing with more stress. Maybe we're in abusive relationships or just dealing with a lot of hard times. So hang on while I share my screen. Okay, so remember that we have been talking about 3 different goals. One, we learned how to regulate our bodies in the moment. And if y'all don't remember these, go to my website, kimberlyncoaching.com, look on the Springboard tab, and there you will see all of my past videos. And the last, I don't know how many, 8 or 10, are all dealing with stress and trauma and change. Because what we're trying to do is change and grow, and the stress and the trauma and the change all kind of interact. So they're kind of all mixed up in there. So first we learned how to regulate our bodies in the moment. Then we talked about eliminating stressful situations when it was appropriate. Sometimes we change them. Some stress is good, right? So we talked about all of that. And then we started talking about how to decrease our reaction to stress, because we can't get rid of all stress. It's going to come, it's going to affect us, but how can we lessen how much it affects us? So we talked about several things, and then I talked about the COR disciplines. So first of all, I want to say, what do you think about when you think of the word disciplined? Who wants to be disciplined, right? I mean, I think a lot of us think of it as punishment. When we're a kid, you got disciplined, maybe with a paddle or a switch. Maybe you got grounded or had a timeout. All the different ways that our parents disciplined us, and that does not feel good. I remember one time, so I used to pull my French horn case. When I get in the front door, I just drop it in the hallway. And my mom was like, go put your case up, go put it in your room. And every day, I would leave it in the living room, in the hallway. And so finally one day my mom grounded me. And so here's to tell you what kind of kid I was. She grounded me from the library. I mean, I was like in junior high, I think. And so I was, that did not actually be a great punishment for me, because I was able to get books from the school library instead of the main library. So kind of silly. But anyway, when we think of that kind of discipline, we're not really crazy about that. The other way I think of disciplined is I'm living a very disciplined, structured life, and I don't ever do anything fun, and I don't ever eat anything fun, and I'm just, I'm focused on what I'm doing. I'm doing my schoolwork, I'm doing my work, I'm doing my good for me books. And we think of disciplined life as one that's hard and structured and not fun. That is not what we're talking about when we talk about COR disciplines. So when we talk about COR disciplines, these are concentrating, we're concentrating on building a long-term life philosophy. I tried to think of a different word for the disciplines, but I haven't found a better one. So we want this philosophy that, in this way of being. So when we can use these concepts and live these concepts, we just automatically resonate at a high energy level, and this makes it less likely that we're going to react to stress in a strong way in the first place. So if we are learning to live out these disciplines as we are going to learn them, they make our body and make our mind and our soul and our character such that when stress comes our way, we're able to handle it better, and we don't get so stressed out in the long run. So, another way of looking at the word discipline is that it is a branch of knowledge or teaching, and that is to train by instruction or practice. So what we want to do with these disciplines is we want to learn them, we want to practice them, and then we want to live them. Now what I'm going to do in these next, well today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a really short little, I don't know, to tell you a little bit about each discipline. And then starting next week, we'll do a deep dive into each one separately. I'll give you some exercises, some questions to ask yourself, some ways to really make sure that you understand it, and ways to actually live it out in your life. So the 10 core disciplines are awareness, acceptance, conscious choice, connection, trusting the process, authenticity, fearlessness, confidence, presence in the moment, and 100% energetic engagement. So what I'm going to ask you to do as we talk about this today, whenever I give you a description of one, judge yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Judge is not a good word because we're not going to be judgmental. What 1 means, I have no clue, I've never heard of this, or I've never thought about this, I don't really use this in my daily life, so 1 is just, this has not really been meaningful for me. 10 being, I'm a master at this. This is something I've already been doing this before you told me. This is a part of my life and I'm really great. So scale yourself from 1 to 10 and how well you practice this discipline, and maybe a why. Why are you making this scale? Why are you judging yourself at this scale? Keep saying judging, and I don't like that word, because one of the things I wanted to remind you is that last week we talked about the growth or the mastery mindset versus the fixed or performance mindset. And remember, the growth or mastery mindset is that we're growing all the time, we're learning, there are no failures, there are no, when I do something and it's not perfect, that's fine, because I'm learning and I'm growing. And when I have a performance or a fixed mindset, I'm just trying to perform, I'm just trying to do this and make this look good for other people. If I don't do it perfect, it's a failure. And so when we look at these disciplines, if you're like me, some of them you're going to look at, you're going to go, oh, that's really hard. I haven't done this, or I struggle with this. And if you've got that performance mindset, then you're going to feel bad about yourself. And so I'm not wanting you to think that way. I want you to have a growth, a mastery mindset. So if you look at one of these and you're like, whoa, I've not been doing this at all, that's okay. Just kind of make a judgment of where you are right now, and then we'll grow. And you might not ever get to where you feel like you're a 10 at one, but maybe some days you're a 10 and some days you're a 3, or maybe you're a 6 and a 7 on a general basis, or whatever. And even when we do these well, we're not going to do them perfectly every day. We're not going to ever do them perfectly. But even when we do them well, we may not do them well on a day that we feel bad, or on a day that we have extra stress. We're not going to do them as well. But to the degree that we can grow in all these areas, practice these in our lives, to that degree, we will be able to be less stressed, less affected by stress when it comes in our lives. All right, so the first one is awareness. This just means that you look around, you observe things. There are a lot of things you can be aware of. You can be aware of your environment. I went through my life for so many years just bundling through, just pushing through. I didn't notice the outdoors. I didn't notice nature, birds, anything like that. And other people would talk about being out in the country or in the woods and all this stuff, and I'd be going, ugh, that's boring, because I just was, woof. And now, for several years now, I've slowed down. I look around, even when I just take a walk in my neighborhood. I listen to the birds. I look at the colors, the trees, the flowers, the grass. And I try to become aware of my environment. And then now I put myself in beautiful environments more often than I used to, because I become aware of it and I'm enjoying it, and it helps me relax and feel at peace. So be aware of your environment, assess yourself and everything around you. And you can understand that what is truth for you is not necessarily the truth. Okay, just because we believe something does not mean that is actually the truth of the matter. We need to be able to look at things and become aware that maybe We're looking at things through a different lens. We need to change it a bit. We want to become aware of who we are, why we are who we are, and how we're reacting to our circumstances. All these things we're going to become aware of. Now, make a judgment for yourself right now. Where do you think you are between a 1 and a 10? Keep all this that you write down today. Keep it and hang on to it. And as we keep on doing the lessons where we do a deeper dive, then you can hopefully be able to score yourself a little bit higher next time. Discipline 2 is acceptance. Don't beat yourself up. Accept yourself. Accept all of yourself. All the different parts of you. Your good points, your bad points, your quirks, your failures. Just accept where you are. And one of the things that's so important about acceptance is just because I accept something, I'm not saying that I like it, that I think it's okay, or that I expect it to be this way forever. It just means I accept that this is the way it is right now. Don't take things or people so personally. Don't make everything be something about yourself. Don't look at things and anything that happens, don't take it as more than it actually is. Accept that what has just occurred did occur. I don't know about you, but I spent a lot of my life denying things that happened. I made excuses for myself and for others. I would give people benefit of the doubt longer than I ever should. I just didn't want to believe the things that were happening actually happened. So in acceptance, we do. Doesn't mean we like them. We just accept that that's what it is. We don't catastrophize. We don't make a situation more than it is. And we understand that for right now, at this moment, everything is okay as it is. Again, doesn't have to stay that way. You may not want it to stay that way. But for right now, this minute, it's okay. Conscious choice. So realize that we're always at conscious choice. Now, a lot of people don't realize this. People say, I had to do that. I didn't have an option. So many times people feel stuck in their lives. I don't have a way to get out. I cannot leave this situation. I can't change. And the reality is, yes, you can. Now, maybe the options that you have come up with, you don't like any of the consequences of those options. That may be true, but you still do have the choice of those options. Also, many times when you think you only have one option or two options, if you talk to someone else, especially if you talk to a coach, you can figure out more options. I don't know how many times I've talked with a client who thought there was only one way they could do something and they were frustrated because that was not the way they wanted to do it. And we talked and they figured out the options with me asking them powerful questions. So when you think that you have no choice, that you have no options, that is absolutely not true. So as we become aware and we become responsible, we take responsibility for our actions, our feelings, then we learn how to respond instead of reacting. When we're just barreling through life, we're not being aware, we're not accepting responsibility, we end up reacting to things. Those triggers hit us and we just react, we don't think things through. But one of the things these COR disciplines do is they help us have a little bit of a space between that first moment something triggers us and when we say something or when we do a behavior. So we can learn to respond rather than reacting. Then when we are practicing this discipline of conscious choice, we can use logic and emotion and our intuitions so we can make quick and accurate decisions. So discipline 4 is trusting the process. Now, what does this mean? This means that, I don't know, I like things to happen now. And so when we decide we're going to do something, if we don't see change, we don't see improvement quickly, often we stop that plan and we jump to another plan, right? And then we do that one a little while, it doesn't work, and we jump to another one. You can see this all the time with exercise routines, with losing weight, maybe even in jobs, or anytime that you're wanting to improve yourself. Maybe you've got a million self-help books. So we try something for a little while, we don't see the growth, and we jump to something else. So when you trust the process, you don't do that. You focus on long-term growth. You understand that it's going to take a while. So you decide, what are my true goals? What am I trying to accomplish in the long run? And understand it's going to take a while to get there. Now, sometimes people just make a long-term goal and it takes so long to get there that they give up. So if you break that into short-term goals and then into tiny goals, then you can see some improvement in those tiny goals quicker than in the larger ones. But regardless, trusting the process means I'm going to do, I'm going to research first. I'm going to research and decide what plan I'm going to take to get to my goal. And then once I decide that that's my plan, I'm going to have faith in that plan and I'm going to keep on it. I'm going to keep working it. I'm going to expect it's going to take a while. I'm going to work it to the best of my ability. And as I go on, I'm going to continue to look for lessons. I might review my plan. I can shift it. I'm not stuck. I'm not married to the plan. It's not stuck in concrete. But I'm going to give that plan a long enough time to realistically expect the improvement. If I'm not getting improvement, then yes, I can change it, but we're not going to just jump from this to that. So we're going to trust that when we do the right things will happen eventually. Discipline 5 is authenticity, being yourself. You are a unique person. You are the best at being you. Nobody else can be you as well as you can be you. And when you walk to the beat of a different drum, you inspire other people to do the same thing. When you are being yourself, and a lot of times people don't know who myself is. You may have to do some work to find out, who am I? What am I like? What do I like to do? What are my goals? What are my purposes? Because you may have been spending your life trying to be the person that other people wanted you to be, or the person you thought other people wanted you to be. Especially if you've been in an abusive relationship, you may have been spending all this time trying to take care of them and make them happy, and you may feel like you have lost who you are. I don't even know who I am. I don't know what I like. And you may feel like, I've heard people say that, I used to be this person over here. I used to be enthusiastic and cheerful and worked hard and enjoyed life, and now I feel lowly, weak, powerless, worthless. And things have changed in the time of you being in that abusive relationship. So you may have to do some work to find out who you are actually. But when you are being you, that gives you the best energy. It takes the least struggle, and you can perform at your best, highest levels with less effort. It won't tire you out. What you're doing now, trying to be who you think you're supposed to be, is very exhausting. Being authentic and being yourself is very exciting, and it's very energy lifting. It will actually make you enjoy what you're doing. Again, are y'all making your scale? Scale yourself 1 to 10. How well am I doing this? How well am I allowing myself to be authentic? Now, discipline 6, fearlessness. This is one of those that when I read this, I'm like, I'm still struggling with this one in places and at times and in different areas. And that's okay. With the mastery mindset, I know that I'm growing, I'm learning, and I don't have to have it all figured out today. So if you're fearless, you're embracing the unknown, you're taking reasonable chances without worry or doubt. You're not going all crazy. You're not taking unreasonable chances. You're not jumping off of a building with no parachute. But you might be jumping out of a plane with a parachute. Okay, so you're not being unreasonable, but you are making choices to embrace things that maybe were you were too afraid to do before. So fear and anxiety, they're always about something that's going to happen, right? We're always afraid of something that's going to happen. Fear doesn't exist in the present moment. So if you're totally present in this moment, and actually we'll talk about that one in a minute, you'll notice that these disciplines all merge together and they interact with each other. So if you're in the present moment, there's no need for fear. And if you believe, trusting the process, you believe that whatever is unfolding is going to be good for you ultimately, it's going to serve you, then you don't have to be fearful. You don't have anything to lose because you know that whatever happens, you're going to learn and grow. And so then you don't have anything to fear. Discipline 7 is confidence. As we're starting to add each one of these disciplines on, then these different disciplines just naturally occur. As you're starting to feel all these different things we said, then you're going to start having confidence. Confidence is an internal capability. So a lot of times we think we have to wait for something to happen before we can have confidence. When I get my degree, when I get my master's degree, when I finish this course, when I finish that course, when I've coached so many clients, when I've taught so many classes, when so-and-so reacts a certain way toward me, when somebody respects me, I'm waiting for all these different things to happen before I can feel confidence. But the confidence we're talking here is one that we create ourselves. We decide to be confident. We decide that we have enough experience at being me. And because of my experience and my attitude, I trust myself to do whatever it is I'm wanting to do. Do I possibly have to get more learning on this or that or this or that? Sure, yeah. But the confidence that we're talking is this confidence that radiates from inside to out, that no matter what it is that we're doing, we're going to be able to do it well. We let go of our concerns that we're gonna fail. We don't worry about that. We just go with it because we know we can handle whatever occurs. We grow and we learn. And whatever happens, we're not worried. We're going to embrace all outcomes. So we might apply for a job, and if we don't get the job, we're okay with that. Now, maybe it stings for a minute, but we have learned through all the things we've talked about that maybe that job wasn't right for me, or maybe this was just a learning experience to help me learn to put in a job application. Haven't done it in a while. So whatever happens, when I have this confidence, I trust that I can do whatever I need to do, and then no matter what happens, it's okay. I can have these feelings of success and peace and power and calm. I'm not frustrated and anxious because I'm confident that whatever happens, I will be able to handle. And using all these different feelings, I can create whatever experience I choose. We're back to that conscious choice. I get to choose what I want to experience in this life. Discipline 8 is connection. So we're not created to live alone in this world. Everything influences everything else, right? We influence other people influence us. Whatever is happening today is influenced by the past, and whatever happens today is connected to the future. Everything is connected. None of us live by ourselves, and nothing exists in isolation. We're all connected. And when we understand that, it changes so many things about us. We're able to give to others, we're able to accept help from others, and we grow and we're strengthened. And we actually are more responsible for our behaviors when we realize how they're all connected. Discipline 9 is presence in the moment. I kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier, but being present right now. So many times we're like, I'm going to be happy when. I'm going to be happy when I graduate, when I get married, when I have a child. I'm going to be I'm going to be happy when I get divorced, when my child is potty trained, when my child is out of the house. I'm going to be happy when I get a job. I'm going to be happy when I retire. We have all these whens. I'm going to be happy when, and we lose the joy of the moment. I've been working on this for many years now to just be present in the moment and enjoy whatever is happening right now. There are so many good things that happen in the course of a day, small, tiny things, that if you concentrate and focus and look at it and savor it and think about it, then you get a piece of joy. You get a smile, you get some happiness, and those little pieces through the day add up to become a life full of joy. So The presence in the moment means we focus on one action at a time. We try not to get distracted. You're really not supposed to multitask, because actually they say your brain is not multitasking. Your brain is doing this and then doing that. But I have to admit, I still multitask, and I feel like I do it pretty well. So maybe I'm gonna have to scale myself a little bit lower on this one in some areas. But at times when it is important that when you need to be fully engaged in this task to do it well, then you're totally present to the task. You're experiencing what is happening right now. When you do this, when you're totally focused in, then your intuition is alive. You have much more ability to judge what is truly going on in a situation. And when we have this presence in the moment, we're open to each moment as it occurs. We are not afraid. We are just present. And then once we have put all our focus on this one thing, that one's over, then we put all our energy into the next one, so that each thing we're doing gets our full attention and gets the best part of us. Last one is 100% energetic engagement and commitment. Play full out. How many things have you done in your life that you just did halfway? When you do it halfway, part way, you're not really enjoying it. Now, maybe the reason you're doing it halfway is it's something you don't really want to do, and you're just doing it because you felt like you had to say yes, you felt like you had to do it. So in order to do this, you may have to judge your activities, your commitments. Are these things I am truly passionate about? Are these things that I really believe I need to do, I want to do? And then if it's something that you decide, yes, this is something that for whatever reason, maybe, it doesn't have to be a totally enjoyable thing. It can be something that's hard, but if it's something that you believe is going to be good for you in the long run, going to be good for your community, going to be good for the world, then you play full out. You put your full attention, you work hard, you concentrate, you focus, you commit. You give 100% for whatever you're doing at that moment. When you do that, even if whatever happens isn't as excellent as you want it to be, if you know that you did your best and you put 100%, only obviously, right, we're not doing it perfect, so maybe we should say 99%. But if you're doing your best, you're putting yourself into it, then you can be happy afterwards and know that you did your best. Okay, scale it 1 to 10. How did you do? Each one of these, you may have to go back and watch this over, scale yourself and hang on to those for the next times. Just a recap here. We're going to work on awareness, acceptance, conscious choice, connection, trusting the process, authenticity, fearlessness, confidence, presence in the moment, and 100% energetic engagement. Now, as I say, going forward, we're going to take each one and dig deeper. If you are wanting to dig deeper on these things in your life and the stress and whatever's going on in your life, you know that I would love to work with you. I'm offering a free coaching session. Anyone interested, the link should be in the show notes. And if not, message me and I will send that to you. Like I said, Facebook has changed some things, so I'm going to have to check it when we're over and make sure what all is there. But other than that, if you're interested and you're not watching this through my group, I have a private women's group called Resilience and Transformation. I'd like to invite you to that. Again, you can message me and I'll send you the link to that if you're interested in that. And meanwhile, I hope that you have a less stressful week, and or if you have a stressful week, that you're able to regulate yourself in the moment, that you're able to set some boundaries, that you're able to react less so that the stress does not influence you, does not push you down, take you down like it may have in the past. And if you have some experiences where you're starting to be able to react better to the stress, or you're able to let go of the stress, I would love for you to let us know. Put them in the comments, message me, put them in the group, wherever you want to put them, just put them somewhere where we can all read them and be inspired and encouraged with them. Meanwhile, have a great week, and I will talk to you later.